You know, when you know that you're growing is when you start looking at yourself and not other people, really. Because, you know, and you know, the enemy wants us, he always gets us to believe, if only they do that, and if only they do that, I'd be happy. No, if only you change this, right? Sorry, it's on my heart. If only you change this, if only you work on changing your heart, then you'll be happy, not changing other people. So that was a powerful, powerful testimony, Jerry. Thank you. I love those. So verse 5 in Psalm 91, you will not be afraid of the terror by night or of the arrows that fly by day. Well, why won't you be afraid? Because you gotta keep going back to verse 1, because you're dwelling in the shelter of the Most High. That's why you will not be afraid. You are guaranteed. Here's one thing that God is not saying. God is not saying everyone will live to be 100 and something years old, blah, blah. No, he is saying that everyone is protected. In other words, your ultimate destination is secure, right? Your ultimate destination is secure. And that's what you have to bank on. Not that, oh, I'm going to be living till 100 and something years old and we're going to be vacationing on the vineyard and all of that. That's fine and dandy, and that could happen, but that's not what God is saying. God is talking about your ultimate destination. We have to focus on the ultimate destination, which is eternity, in order to be able to live in peace in the temporary. And then look what he says. So you will not be afraid of the terror by night or of the arrow that flies by day. You know, let me tell you something that they had back then. Even though they didn't have drive-by shootings, they had fly-by arrows, right? I mean, you don't know, you could have your tent right there and you could be in the middle of a war zone and a stray arrow could come and pick you off. God promises to protect people from that, of the pestilence, so the disease that stalks in darkness, or of the destruction that lays waste at noon. You know, I think about it. It's not that, of course, it's not that I could not get COVID, but I've never, ever, ever been worried about COVID. Never. And listen, and that's not because, and understand one thing, that's not because I'm living in the twilight zone that I'm denying it. No, that's nonsense. That's just silly. It's a real thing. Not because of that. I know it exists. I know it's a reality, but I know that my ultimate destination is with God. And if you know that, you don't have to worry about anything that's going on right now. People that have phobias, let me tell you why. They doubt their ultimate destination. And people that have phobias, you know what who they're trusting in? Themselves. It's a horrible, horrible, horrible life to trust in yourself. You even think about it. It doesn't even make any sense to come into a world you don't know who your parents are, right? I was calling a woman that anyone could see was not my mother, and I wasn't calling my biological mother. So you don't know who your parents are. And then to think, I've come into this world, I don't know what came before me, I have no idea. And then to think somehow you can kind of navigate your way around this world. You're gonna have phobias. And this is why, what is this? He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will abide under the shadow of the Almighty. What is Psalm 91 about? Trust. That's what it's all about. It's all about trust. What is this entire thing about? It's actually trusting in God. When someone comes and they give their life to Christ, what are they saying? I don't trust in myself anymore. I've done that, right? I don't trust in myself. But even though we thought we're trusting in ourselves, we're still trusting in God. I can't trust in myself to take one breath, right? I cannot trust in myself to have a heartbeat. It's all God. But the difference is now I'm acknowledging it. And when is what takes phobias away? When you say, God, I have no idea what came before me. No, and as God said to Job, I wasn't there when you laid the foundations of the world. I wasn't, Lord God, only you know. And that's why I'm going to trust in you. This is why I am going to trust in you. And when you can do that with your heart, I'm telling you, fear will just, if you had any fear, panic, it will dissipate. I used to have panic, nightmares, you name it, all of it, anxiety, being afraid, and something like, well, wait, why am I having these palpitations? Why am I even afraid? Afraid in like sat in the living room, being afraid, for the simple reason being is that you are meant to be afraid if you're only trusting in self. If you are only trusting in self, nobody can watch their own back, right? Nobody can. And then what he says, 1,000 may fall at your side and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not approach you, right? It shall not approach, because God promises to take care of you. You'll only look on with your eyes and see the recompense of the wicked. That means the wicked judged getting their rightful reward from God. For you have made the Lord my refuge, even the Most High, your dwelling place. No evil will befall you, nor will any plague come near your tent, right? And so essentially, if I trust in God, I am assured, right, of this final destination. I'm trusting in God that whatever happens to me is God's will. So the real trust in God is not, God, I want to be assured of this particular outcome. No, God, I trust in you so that I know whatever the outcome, I am fine. Remember Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego? Lord Nebuchadnezzar, we will not bow down. Our God is able to save us. But that wasn't the powerful words. This was the powerful sentence that they said. But even if he doesn't, we still won't bow down. That is so, so powerful. So real faith is not getting what you want. It's accepting what he gives, knowing that God knows what's best for you. God knows that that even though there's pain, God knows glory will come out of it. I've been through a lot of pain in my life. I wouldn't give any of it up. It's been so wonderful, really. It has been so wonderful. I had an MRI on Friday. You know what? I really don't care about the outcome. Really. I want the outcome, whatever it is, to glorify God, really. Yeah, God has just done something in my heart. I can't even put it into words. I can't put it into words. But he's done something in my heart that it doesn't matter, really. And it's a wonderful, wonderful place to be. I would never give up any of the pain. I don't want to escape anything that God has for me, because you know why? If I'm escaping any of the pain, then I'm outdoing myself out of the gain, because with a little bit of pain with God comes great gain. There comes great gain. So what I'm saying is that if you truly trust in God, just that increases your quality of life. You have a diminished quality of life when you're worrying about things. There are people who, I'm almost going to say, have phobia disorder. One phobia go, there's another thing, there's another thing, there's another thing. It's just like anxiety and worry. Anxiety and worry is not issue-based. It's a disorder that's based on a way of thinking. So one issue, oh, thank God, the kids are safe. Boom, they'll gravitate to another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. So it's just a way of thinking. And that way of thinking, what it's really doing to your life and your quality of life, it's really saying, you'll never, ever be happy. You'll never, ever, ever have joy. It's almost a predisposition. I am not going to be happy. I am always going to find something to worry about. When one jam is over, I'm going to worry about another jam. Boom, 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 from jam to jam to jam to jam to jam. Really, more jamming going on than a jazz musician. And what we have to do, what we have to realize is that when we trust in God, all the jams go away. Really, all the jams go away. Because now we weren't made, it wasn't in ourselves. The scripture says that we were never, ever meant to direct our own steps. We are the created. We are just, all this is doing is putting things back in the right order. We were meant to trust in something bigger than ourselves. This is a big world. We don't even know. Nobody really knows how old this world is, how old creation is. And for us to come in and think that we've got it figured out, no, we don't. This is why it's very, very important to have that I'm abiding under the shadow of the Almighty. I am protected by God mentality. It's very, very important to almost inculcate that into your mind, that without that, I'm exposed. Without that, yeah, of course, I'm going to have phobias because I know I can't protect myself. I don't know what's coming. God knows the beginning from the end. His ways are past finding out. He's everywhere. He knows everything. Why would I not depend on that? One thing that I love now using a GPS. You know why? Because a GPS is not just even, it's not just even that a GPS gives you the direction. I use GPS when I know where I'm going, but where a GPS will tell you about the traffic, right? It will tell you about the traffic and it will give you all of these different detours. It lets you know what's ahead. And it's the same way with God. God is a GPS. He lets you know how to navigate around this world that you are living in. We all know, we've all done it. Nobody should want to ever live by trial and error, because you know what? You can do irreparable damage to yourself. We should want to live by faith. The Bible says the righteous shall live by faith. And we should want to to have God direct us into things. Hey, listen, there's no doubt about it. You get into jams even with God, but it's a great thing getting into God jams. I love God jams because, when you come out of a God jam, you come out better than when you went in, right? Consider it all joy when you're born into various trials and tribulations. And we know all things work together for good for those that love God, for those that are called according to his purpose. Those are God jams. Give me those kind of jams anytime. So really, and so truly then, the way forward, everyone here has to say, hey, God, I am gonna trust everything in you. Don't even say, oh, I'm kind of good at this, so I don't need you here, God. No, it's got to be everything. It's got to be everything or nothing. And that everything, something, it will make life so much easier. I'm telling you, I almost felt, has anyone ever heard of a diesel engine? You've heard of diesel, how noisy it is. I almost thought before I knew God, my life was kind of like a diesel engine. Now it's more like a turbo engine, right? Turbo engine, just swift and it's silent. Diesel engines sound like they're about to break down, right? Those diesel engines, right? I guess that's what characterized my life. But now it's a turbo engine. It's not going to break down. And that's it. When you trust in God, it's a turbo. You don't have to worry about breaking down. You won't break down. You'll have peace. You'll have joy. Because I'm telling you, everybody here, you don't even understand. You've at the most that much of God, or a drop in the ocean, literally. It gets so much better and so much better. Even Paul at the end of his ministry said, that I might know him and the power of his resurrection. Someone could turn around and say to Paul, but Paul, don't you know him? Paul probably say, no, humble Paul was that much, if that, right? And so what I'm saying is that these areas of our life, let's stop and ask and make a conscious, deliberate decision in areas you're going into work, driving. God, I'm trusting you with this. Really, be very, very deliberate about it. Be very deliberate about not trusting in yourself and trusting in God. I know, listen, we all have a tendency to jump in our cars. Oh, nothing's going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. Let's be deliberate. Well, God, I'm trusting in you. Nothing is going to happen because I'm trusting in you. Let's be deliberate as well about the things that we want to change. David asked God, search me, oh Lord, search me. He asked, in fact, he's asking God, search me and you tell me what's wrong. Many of us, we do have this trust. Oh, I'm all set. Oh, I'm all set in that area. Well, anybody can be all set. You're biased against yourself, right? Aren't we biased against ourselves? Nobody ever asked someone, go and write your own reference for us. No, have you ever heard of anybody who says that? I mean, it would be pointless, right? I mean, that would be pointless. So we're biased against ourselves. We're biased towards ourselves, I should say, and biased against other people. So we have to be deliberate about this trust, because I know trust in God takes so many fears away. And we should not be going around with fear. I mean, there's a lot of damage to the body. We know cancer, high blood pressure, heart attacks, strokes, all kinds of stuff. And then just in our daily life, sucking away at the quality of our life. If you have been worried about something all day long, you are not going to have the kind of quality smile or laugh or amusement that you would normally have, because the worry has diluted it. You want your joy not to be diluted. You want it to be concentrated. You want it to be distilled. I want distilled joy, right? I want it distilled. And so, but worry will dilute it.